All right, hey everyone, this is how you increase the price of Shiba Inu. Listen very carefully. We're going to be going through a lot of news today, both for Bitcoin and Shiba Inu, which will affect the prices today and in the future. First of all, you won't earn any Ethereum. Many people talk about gas fees, which is an Ethereum thing, not Shiba Swap thing. You'll get that back in no time since staking SHIB earns you Ethereum as well as more SHIB and Bone. And don't use Crypto.com earn. Don't do any of those staking programs, but use Shiba Swap if you're serious about the price going up. And your tokens won't be taken out of circulation. Remember, when you stake your tokens in Shiba Swap, for example, SHIB, you'll get X SHIB in return. Why is this so important? The circulation of SHIB tokens is reduced exactly by the number of X SHIB tokens in existence. So that means if 60,000 people deposit in Shiba Swap, that means there's 60 X SHIB tokens. So meaning if you stake 50 million SHIB, you'll now have 50 million X SHIB, meaning you just created the same economic effect as kind of burning 50 million SHIB. And that's the beauty of it. The same goes for Leash and Bone. You're not earning any Bone, which you'll wish you had in a few years. So right now you're not earning any Bone, but when you do, you will seriously wish. Because Bone is going to be basically the thing that lets you decide Shiba Inu's future. And whales will want to get into this. Whales will want to decide where this coin will go, so they will see the prices increase. So I really want the price to increase. We need the entire Shiba army using Shiba Swap. The faster that happens, the faster the price goes up. And you also get your rewards. So everyone is now burning. What's going on, everyone? Be sure to drop a like. And thank you so much for checking out my Patreon, because we're a like-minded community here, and I do have some awesome look into the market by itself. If you want to do that, I have a secret Discord channel, link down in the description, where you can check what coin is going to be big. We already had, a few discussions with other members, and it was working fine so far. So thank you so much for supporting my content. I really do appreciate it during these hard times. But let's look at this. The world is ours, and Shiba Inu is growing at a fast rate. At me putting $20, total cryptocurrency market cap down 1 trillion since May. And Bitcoin sell-off continues as Bitcoin nears 31K ahead of Powell's speech. So the latest price declines came after the US inflation rose to a 30-year high in June. As long as the US dollar is bad, that's when the prices are going to be dropping. So Bitcoin sold off at 35,000 and dropped to near 31,000 during the Wednesday session. One factor made traders cautious is uncertainty about how the Federal Reserve would respond to the bout of higher inflation. So we're seeing the inflation effects already, now running upward at its fastest pace in 13 years. In detail, the US Consumer Price Index rose 1% in June from the previous month and by 5.4% compared to June 2020. So this means, very simply put, that the US dollar is in a bit of trouble, okay? We can see here the graph is slightly rising, and this happened in 2008. Look at this. It's happening once again. The US inflation is coming back stronger than ever. So the central bank chief expects to clarify his position on the ongoing spike in consumer-related inflation. In his earlier statement, Powell has suggested that the Fed should move cautiously unless it sees a maximum recovery in the U.S. labor markets. Therefore, with support from the like-minded dovish Fed officials, including New York branch head John Williams, Powell might ignore trimming the Fed's $120 billion monthly asset purchase program in the wake of a strong U.S. growth and high inflation. So they might not be buying cryptocurrencies, and that's what caused a lot of FUD. It's nothing is confirmed yet. They still might be end up buying crypto, but the Fed's hawkish tone considers with lower Bitcoin's prices, and basically the government is what decides the market. We saw a downside over here. Conversely, a break point that we all know what the analytics mean. And is this gonna be over? No, I think there's gonna be some good news, and if there's some good news by the end of the year, we're gonna be seeing Bitcoin at 100K, 60K by the end of the year for Bitcoin is pretty realistic, especially with how many uses it has. But BlackRock CEO signals low demand for crypto from long-term investments. Right now, paper hands are buying in and they're selling Shiba Inu fast off because they see so much FUD. We see very little in terms of investor demand for crypto, BlackRock CEO said. And in the past, you asked me about crypto and Bitcoin again, and in my last 2 weeks of business travel, not one question has asked me about that. This is just not part of the focus of retirement and long-term investors right now. That doesn't mean it won't be, in the future, but this is both good and kind of weird news because this means two things. This means that you are super intelligent because you bought in early, like you bought in crypto super early. You still don't know. If you think Ethereum at $2,000 is, cheap or is expensive, then you have the wrong mindset. I'm pretty sure Ethereum will be seeing 20,000 at some point, and Bitcoin will be seeing 100,000 at some point, maybe 200,000, maybe even 300,000. It will, of course, take time. Right now, we're at these prices, and they will change in the future. This is not part of the focus of retirement and long-term investors. We see very little in terms of investor demand. And Fing's remarks come amid a continuous sideways trading on cryptocurrency markets, with Bitcoin dropping over 16%. So the prices are dropping, the investors are simply not interested, but this is good news because when the investors get interested into Shiba Inu, so listen carefully, when the investors actually see the Shiba Inu's potential, that it has actual use cases, that's when they're going to be buying in crazy. They will want to buy all the coins. They will want to buy all the coins on the market, but there won't be any coins left. They'll be all on ShibaSwap, grinding those beautiful fees. And they'll be buying at higher rates than you bought them. And you'll be smiling here. I have my wallet. It's worth 20 million. I have my wallet. It has 20 million coins. It has 150 million coins in here. Despite BlackRock CEO claims on the alleged decline in Bitcoin demand from long-term investors, the institutional interest in crypto apparently continues growing. So long-term investors are not interested into holding crypto, but institutions are coming in. So it doesn't matter because the institutions are where the big money is. Reportedly set up a crypto research team in response to growing international interest in digital assets. So that's what we're seeing so far, big demand happening, okay? Once again, reportedly set up a crypto research team in response to growing institutional interest in digital assets. They're becoming more invested more than ever, but right now, people that are holding Bitcoin, and we're super early, like you're a part of a small community and even a part of a smaller community in Shiba Inu. And when these communities expand, which is called a snowball effect, which these communities grow bigger and bigger, the most important thing we're going to be seeing is that Bitcoin will increase in the price. More people have to use cryptocurrency right now. It's still in development stages. It needs to go to the mainstream market. Same goes for Shiba Inu. And market observers express more concerns over the Bitcoin price drop amid a significant projected spike in inflation. So, a lot of holders are saying that Bitcoin is going to be rising, and a lot of holders are saying it's going to be dropping due to inflation. And Bitcoin has allegedly failed as an inflation hedge, and its price almost halved from 64,000 in mid-April, according to some analysts. I don't think that. I think it's just a market correction, obviously. But the inflation hedge, basically is happening for Bitcoin. We have people dissing Bitcoin here because it's actually dropping in the prices. But on the other side, we see 10 years ago, Bitcoin at $14 per coin. Then we see Bitcoin at $7 per coin. Then we see it at 74, 623, 270, 651. Obviously, it needed actually 4 years to grow back to the stages it deserves. But here you can see 651, 2,500, 6,700, 12,000, 9,000, and 33,000. That's the beauty of it. Bitcoin growing back up. It reached at its highest, and I do think it will reach at its highest once again because Bitcoin is only getting invested more and more. Certainly, Bitcoin has been a great performer over time, but most of the gains have occurred during a great global deflationary period in which all risk assets rose. Now we got to see what happens when inflation comes in. Now inflation is picking up for real. For the first time since Bitcoin's inception, it's drastically underperforming. So what is going to be the Bitcoin's future? Because we're seeing those big inflation risks. I don't think Bitcoin is the big risk. Obviously, this inflation is not as huge as people think it is, but it is a certain problem, and Bitcoin holders see it that way. They believe that inflation has nothing to do with Bitcoin's price. We saw, some demands out there. And the most important thing you have to know, why should I care about inflation? When there's inflation, there's less of a chance that people will be buying Bitcoin and Shiba Inu. There's a bigger chance that people will be buying food instead because they're afraid that their dollars will be worthless. There's a bigger chance that they'll be buying, real estate markets. So many options to invest, but Bitcoin not being one of them. And people obviously selling to stock up on food or anything they want, because it generates a lot of FUD usually. So we are seeing this so far. Be sure to like for more content and see you next time. Peace, everyone.